I hope you're all well. Today we are going to be doing my January TBR and I am very excited, also very nervous. I don't know why the beginning of the year makes me anxious. I think it's because I want to kick it off with a bang and I'm still not sure what I'm going to start the year off with yet. I'm still on the fence. So there's that, which is great news. So yeah, but I thought that we could do my TBR. So in the month of January, I am taking part in 3 readathons that I know of, and they're all happening within a 10-day period. That's not a joke either. So the first one is, of course, Winterween, in which I do have my merch on for. So I do want to take part in Winterween, which is running from the 5th. When is Winterween running? 5th to the 11th of January, and I am excited about taking part in this one. I am really hyped. I'm loving this merch. It's very pretty, and I really love it. So I will go through the prompts and what I'm thinking of reading for that. Then we do have my F1 readathon, which is running for a week from the 8th to the 14th, so you can see the crossover here. The F1 readathon is another box round, a special edition round for a week, so the intention is to read subscription box books, and I'm really excited yet again to be doing this one with my patrons. The last one was such a success, especially for me, but I think everybody succeeded, pretty much everybody succeeded for that round of box readathon, so I'm really excited. If you didn't know, I do run a monthly readathon with my patrons. Usually they're 24 hours long, but we did decide to do a special edition this time round in November, and it was for a week long. We called it the box readathon. If you don't know anything about F1, it does not matter, you can still take part. The prompts are very broad and very general. It's just that they are usually tied to something to do with F1, but they are very general prompts. It's like read a small book, read a large book, if you take a nap, you lose some points. If you've got to take a break, join in with the sprint, etc. They're very broad prompts, but for the box readathon, the only prompt is to read subscription box books. And that is it. And we had such a good time. I asked my patrons and they said they wanted to do it again in January, so we did decide to do that. And I then decided to combine that with the final book support group, which will be happening Friday the 12th to Sunday the 14th. So there is a prompt on the on the final book support group, sorry, bingo board, that is a subscription box sequel. It's something a little bit different. It's something we haven't done before for final book support group. The prompts are usually pretty much the same every single round, but for this one we are going to be doing a subscription box sequel as one of the prompts. I will leave the announcement video for the final book support group up here if you want to check it out. Is it up here? Is it up here? Who the heck knows? Up here somewhere. If you want to go and check that out, I'll leave it in the description box down below as well. But yeah, those are the 3 readathons that I'm taking part in, all from the 5th to the 13th of January. So there's a lot of crossing over. Winterween and the box readathon will cross over very heavily with the 5th to the 11th, because the box readathon is the 8th to the 14th. And then box readathon and final book support group crossover in that week. So I'm really excited. What I probably will do is just do one vlog for Winterween, box and the final book support group, because it doesn't make sense to split the vlogs up, splitting it through the weeks. I'm just going to get myself overwhelmed. So I'll probably just do one vlog for the whole thing, so you'll get an extra long vlog. Not that you guys need extra long vlogs from me these days. But yeah, I'm really excited. So those are the 3 readathons that I'm taking part in. But before we get into what I plan on reading for the month, we do need to do the Patreon pot. Some of my patrons get to put books in here that I need to read, and I put one every single month. I can't remember what's in here. I am nervous. I think I'm more nervous now that Empire of the Vampire has come out of here, because I can't remember what's in here. Last month I ended up manifesting Emily Henry's book onto my TBR, so let's see what we get this month. You're gonna focus. What is that? Criminal Intentions by Cole McCade from Nina. This is down as book 1 of 29. Fucking hell, Nina. Season 1, episode 1, The Cardigans. Okay. Read the complete first 2 seasons of this thrilling, action-packed, investigative suspense romance with 2 strong-willed detectives, an undeniable slow-burn attraction, and a terrifying puppet master in the shadows before season 3 returns. When a string of young queer men turn up dead in grisly murders, all signs point to the ex-boyfriend, but what should be an open and shut case is fraught with tensions when BPD, Boston Police Department, homicide detective Malcolm Kalaji joins up with a partner he never wanted. Rigid, ice-cold, and a stickler for the rules, Seong Jae-yoon is a watchful presence whose obstinacy and unpredictability constantly reminds Malcolm why he prefers to work alone. Seong Jae may be stunningly attractive, a man who moves like a graceful, lethal bird of prey, but he's as impossible to decipher as this case, and if Malcolm doesn't find the key to unravel both in time, another vulnerable young victim may end up dead. Oh, it's Baltimore, not Boston. Interesting. So that is the book that I am going to be going with for Patreon. I obviously don't physically own that, but it is on Kindle Unlimited. So thank you, Nina, for that suggestion. I haven't heard of that before, so that is interesting indeed. Let me keep that out, otherwise I will forget about it. So my TBR for Winterween and Final Book Support Group and the F1 Readathon is looking kind of intense, I'm not gonna lie. So Winterween has 5 prompts. We have read a book in the dark, which could literally be any of your books. Read a book with a witch on the cover. Read a book with a snowy/winter setting. Read a book with purple on the cover, and read a book with a W in the title. Now, I'm a little bit sad, I'm not gonna lie, about the TBR. I'm not sad about the TBR that I've built. I'm sad about the fact that none of these are thrillers. That's what I'm sad about. But I just don't think that I will be able to get a thriller on here that will combine with the Box Readathon. However, there is the 5th till the 7th that Box Readathon doesn't overlap with Winterween, so I could make a thriller count in there. So what I am going to do is tell you what I'm thinking about reading. This could potentially change, so it's almost pointless doing it, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I'm excited. So for read a book in the dark, this could be literally any of them, but I might pick up a graphic novel nearer the time or something. I've got like Killing Stalking that I could carry on with that would bring like a thrillery element to the readathon. So that's exciting. So I'll probably end up doing that. Then read a book with a witch on the cover, and I really wanted to, because of some of the books on here that are very chunky, I really wanted to pick up a graphic novel. So I do have Unfamiliar Volume 2 by Hayley Newsome. These are all witches. If you don't believe me, that's fine, but they are. We follow our main character, Planchet, who is a kitchen witch, and in the first one, she ends up moving to a new town because there are no witches in her town and she would like to make some witchy friends. However, the house that she moves into is haunted, and she ends up asking the help of some of the local witches to see if they can get rid of the ghosts in the house, because she's not great with her magic. She's a kitchen witch. She's fantastic in the kitchen, but everything else she's not great at. So she asks the help of these other witches, and they end up becoming friends, and this continues on. I loved the first volume. It was so good. This series is absolutely adorable. I love the illustration. It doesn't look that adorable, but it is adorable. And I absolutely loved the first one, so I desperately needed to get the second one. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, so I feel like this will be great to kick off the readathon, which is fantastic. Then we have a book with a snowy/winter setting. Now I have 2 options for this. I'm going to see how I'm feeling at the time, how much time I've got before Box Readathon starts. I really do want to prioritise subscription box books next year as well, which you will see in my goals video that will be coming up soon. So I do have Frostbite here by Rochelle Mead, which is obviously the Fairy Loot edition and is the second book to the Vampire Academy series. Now I hadn't thought about this one initially, but once I put it on my TBR, I suddenly realised the word frost is in the title, so maybe it's set in winter. Winter break turns deadly. Therefore, it is set in winter. And this one is following a girl whose name I cannot remember, Rose, ends up going to a vampire academy, and It's really, really interesting. I really enjoy it. She's kind of like a protector for a vampire, and also ends up kind of giving her blood, and she gets a load of shit for it once they get back to the academy, because they've run away from this academy previously and now they've been dragged back. So in this one, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not going to tell you what's happened because that will spoil it. But yeah, I am very intrigued to get back into this series. I want to try and get my way through the 3 books that I do have in this series pretty quickly. So I think I read Vampire Academy in... might have been November actually for the Box Readathon. In fact, I'm fairly certain it did. So I do have that as an option for a wintry / snowy setting. And then I also have Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi, which I was sent by Orbit, so thank you to them for sending me this one a while ago. It has been out for a while now and I really should have got to it by now, but I haven't. So I do intend to read this in January regardless, so it would be great to get it in for Winterween, but I do want to get to this one regardless. St. Vincent's Orphanage for Boys, turn of the century in a remote valley in Pennsylvania. Here, under the watchful eyes of several priests, 30 boys work, learn and worship. Peter Barlow, orphaned as a child by gruesome murder, has made a new life here. As he approaches adulthood, he has friends, a future, a family. Then late one stormy night, a group of men arrive at their door, one of whom is badly wounded. Occult symbols carved into his flesh. His death releases an ancient evil that spreads like sickness, infecting St. Vincent's and the children within. Soon, boys begin acting differently, forming groups, taking sides. Others turn up dead. Now Peter and those dear to him must choose sides of their own, each of them knowing their lives and perhaps their eternal souls are at risk. So I would like to get to this one as well, potentially. So I do have options for the winter / snowy setting, and maybe I could get to them both, I don't know, but I have those 2 options for that. Then we have Read a Book with the colour purple on the cover. So for this one I'm actually going to go for The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson, which is the second one in the Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. And in this, I loved Her Majesty's Royal Coven. It took a turn I wasn't expecting actually, and I really enjoyed it. But in this one we are following a group of witches. We actually follow some of the witches from this coven that protect the royal family, if I remember correctly, that protect the royal family, that have kind of, they were friends a really long time ago, but they've kind of disbanded now, and they end up coming back together to protect a child. And it's really interesting. All is not as it seems within the halls of Her Majesty's Royal Coven. Payback's a witch, as Sierra, Leonie, Ellie, Theo and Holly are about to find out. So I'm really interested to continue on with this series. This is not a small book. It is very large, actually, quite frankly. 504 pages. So yeah, I would like to get to this one, and this is obviously the Fairy Loot edition, and it is purple, so it counts for the prompt. I just scratched the bottom of the book. Clever. And then the final prompt is to read a book with a W in the title. So I have gone for Heart of the Sun Warrior by Sue Lin Tan, which is the final book in this duology. There is a collection of short stories coming out within this world as well, but as far as the duology is concerned, this is the final one, with Daughter of the Moon Goddess being the first one. And this is following Xingyin, whose mother has been banished to a planet, and she would like to try and rescue her mother, and she's trying to find out exactly why her mother's been banished there and try and see if she can get her mother off that planet and back to civilization. And it kind of goes from there, and it's really interesting. I really liked the first one, so I don't know why I've been holding off on getting to this one. In fact, I do, because of who I am as a person. This is the reason why I have the final book support group, because I struggle with sequels, especially duologies. Don't ask me about it because I don't know the answer. And it has a W in the title with Warrior, so it counts. So those are the books that I'm kind of looking at doing for Winterween. Like I say, not particularly frightening. I would have loved to have fully focused on horrors and thrillers for this, but I am struggling a little bit because it's crossing over with the Box Readathon and, well, not Final Book Support Group, but the Box Readathon. So I'm trying to focus on subscription box books, and I don't have any special edition thrillers and horrors. So, in fact I do. I have 2 special edition horrors, but neither of them fit any of the prompts for Winterween. So we're kind of stuck with what we've got here. If I can get to Boys in the Valley, that would be fantastic. But we will see what happens. So then for Box Readathon, like I say, I do have Shadow Cabinet and have The Sun Warrior, and then I also have Frostbite by Rochelle Mead. On top of those, there is no guarantee I'm going to get to all of these, obviously. But on top of those, I do also have Jade Legacy, which is the third and final book in the Greenbone saga that I really, really, really need to finally finish, because I am sick to death of this book staring at me and judging me off of my shelves. Quite frankly, I'm sick of its attitude, and it's probably sick of mine. So this is the third and final book in the Greenbone saga by Fonda Lee, which follows 2 different warring clans, and in this world, basically Jade, once it's ingested, it can give you extra strength and stamina and different things like that. And these 2 warring clans are basically fighting over the Jade and some other things as well. So it's really, really good, and I really enjoy it. I am just intimidated as hell by this book, I'm not gonna lie, because it is very, very large and it's 713 pages. However, finishing Empire of the Vampire in such quick succession has given me confidence to potentially be able to do the same thing with Jade Legacy. Now maybe my confidence is misplaced, however, we're gonna find out, aren't we? So there is that one. I feel like my confidence is massively misplaced with this stack. When I did Empire of the Vampire, I literally put 2 other books on that TBR for the Box Readathon, and I ended up reading, was it 5 or 6 books in that week? I'm getting so confused with box and books. I think I ended up reading 5 or 6 books in that week, which was absolutely phenomenal, and I did not anticipate happening in the slightest. So maybe now I'm over-egging myself, maybe I'm overconfident, and I probably shouldn't be. But another book I would like to get to is Foxglove by Adeline Grace, which is the second in the Belladonna series. Wisteria comes out either later in 2024 or in 2025, I'm not sure. I'm going to assume later in 2024 because this has come out this year. I really enjoy this series. We follow a girl called Signa who in Belladonna, her parents, well, her mother is basically killed. Her whole family dies when she is very, very young, and she's kind of then passed from pillar to post to different family members, and the only reason that they end up taking her in is because she's due to inherit a lot of money when she reaches a certain age. Now she has a connection with death, and every single group of people that she ends up going to, they end up dying, but she ends up with this really lovely family who have enough money as it is. They don't need her money. They're not taking her in because of that. They're taking her in because they feel it's the right thing to do, and their daughter is dying, and she's trying to find out what happened to her family and what is happening to this young girl, because she doesn't want anything to happen to this family. She really likes them and she would like to stay with them. So along with her connection with death that she has, she communicates with him, she can see him, etc, etc. She's also trying to figure out this mystery of what is going on in this household with this daughter being very, very sick, and also what happened with her mother. But not only that, she can actually see ghosts as well. She can communicate with the dead. So it's really, really good, and I loved Belladonna, so I'm very excited to get to Foxglove. I was debating whether or not to hold off on this one because I do want to kind of wait till closer to the time when Wisteria's coming out, but so I don't need to reread Belladonna and Foxglove when Wisteria comes out. One of two things will happen. Either I'm going to read it in January, or I will probably wait till near the time with Wisteria, reread Belladonna, read Foxglove, and read Wisteria back to back. We will see what happens, but I'm putting it on here as an option because it is a sequel, and that is the aim of the game. So that now is essentially my box and also final book support group TBR, which also has the combination of 3 books, maybe, from Winterween. We're getting a little bit silly up in here, aren't we? Quite frankly. So yeah, and then I have those 2 books for Winterween also. Now, on the basis that those 3 readathons are going to happen in the you know, from the 5th to the 14th of the month, I will still have 2 weeks and 3 days of the month left. What is she going to read during that period, you ask? Very good question, because she doesn't know. I do have a little bit of a twist for you, and something that I may make a regular thing for my TBRs. We're going to see how this goes. Just want to give it a little bit of a trial run and see what happens, see how much fun we have with it. But I did end up treating myself to a TBR card game from Hey Book Lover on Etsy. I will leave a link to them in the description box down below if you would like to get a set for yourself. They're not ridiculously expensive. And there are 30 cards to help indecisive readers choose which book to read next. I am she is me. So I thought that we could give this a little bit of a bash. I don't know how many of these I'm going to pull. My TBR already looks ridiculous, but I do have to bear in mind that my intention is to get through these by the 14th of the month. I still have the rest of the month to go, you know? So, and also these TBRs are a bit of fun, and there's never a guarantee I'm going to get to everything on them, albeit I do try my hardest. So we are going to give these a shuffle, and we're going to pull a few out, maybe five. Maybe five. I have the rest of the month to go. We'll see what happens. We'll see what we pull out. I haven't looked at all of these, so I don't know what all of the prompts are, but I am very intrigued. Don't judge me on my shuffling. It's bloody awful. I know. I play cards. I am not a shuffler. Playing them is my limit. That is it. Oopsie. Also, these are quite big, cumbersome cards. I do miss Bookopoly, but it was restricting me way too much, and I'm hoping that these will not be as restrictive, and they will just give me some general guidance. I think sometimes that's what I need, and that's why I like doing readathons, because prompts are usually quite open, and they're just giving you some general guidance to break down what you could pick up for the readathon. So let us pick a card. Pick a card, any card. Let's pick this one right in the middle and see what we get. Okay, choose a book with the word "and" in the title. Can get off the Santa gonks. Choose a book with the word "and" in the title. See, now that is quite broad for me. What am I going to pick up?
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, you know what's unsettling? How few books I have unread that appear not to have the word "and" in the title. That took ages. This clip is nearly 10 minutes long, and I think we were only 1 or 2 minutes in when it started. I have ended up going for Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, which is a new book that has made it onto my TBR. I got it for my birthday. This was from Kay, so thank you, Kay, for gifting me this one if you watch this video. So I think I'm going to go for this one. This is a sizzling brothers best friend small town romance that went viral on TikTok. It is a cowboy romance, and I am very, very intrigued about this one. So yeah, very excited. This cover, I would have never have picked this up if I'd seen it in the shop straight off the bat. So yeah, very excited for that one indeed. That was really, really difficult prompt. Fascinating. Okay, let's do another one. I do have a book here on my desk that I'm hoping I might be able to fit into one of these prompts maybe. But let's find out, shall we? Pull one off the top this time. Choose a book which is the biggest on your shelf. Choose a book which is the biggest one on your shelf. You can do it. Why do I hate myself this much? Why have I decided to do 5 of these? Fuck me. Right. I'm reckoning that, see, Heartless Sky is probably my biggest book on my TBR, but that's book 7 in the Zodiac Academy series, and I'm not there yet. Right, so one of 3 things could happen here right now. Let's see how many pages again we're in here. 713 in Jade Legacy. I have Binding 13 that I just got for my birthday, which is it's already longer than, I mean, it is smaller, but 789 pages. Albeit I would probably necessarily, I would be, how big's the text in here? Kind of large, not too large though. I would still say Jade Legacy is probably bigger. And then we have The Way of Kings, which in the UK is split into 2 books. So we have the combo of 524, whoopsie, plus 594. It's like 1,118 pages. This book is clearly the winner. Why do I hate myself? Riddle me this. Where did that fucking card go? Mistakes were made. Also, thank you to Megan Lever for sending me this. In fact, I think Megan Lever has pretty much fulfilled my Brandon Sanderson collection for me. I don't know why I've done myself this dirty, honestly. What is the matter with me? Let's go again. I cannot believe that... Oh, I've not even told you what this is about. That's because I don't know. The answer to that question is, I don't know. Speak again, the ancient oaths, life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination, and return to men the shards they once bore. The knights radiant must stand again. Well, that narrows it down. It's gonna be high epic fantasy, and apparently it's gonna be highly epic. So I am excited, and my intention this year is to try and get through, well, for 2024 is to try and get through the Stormlight Archives. So we'll see whether or not I achieve that, but I suppose it's a great start reading The Way of Kings in January. What is the matter with me? Why could I not just be happy with the books I put on here for the bloody readathons? Jesus, right. Choose a book which is pre-loved. A secondhand book. Let's have a butcher's. This one wasn't too hard. I'm actually going to pick up The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapina. This is very clearly secondhand. It's been read at least once, if not multiple times. And this is a thriller. You never know what's happening on the other side of the wall. Your neighbour told you that she didn't want your 6-month-old daughter at the dinner party. Nothing personal, she just couldn't stand her crying. Your husband said it would be fine. After all, you only live next door. You'll have the baby monitor and you'll take it in turns to go back every half hour. Your daughter was sleeping when you checked on her last, but now as you race up the stairs in your deathly quiet house, your worst fears are realised. She's gone. You've never had to call the police before, but now they're in your home and who knows what they'll find there. What would you be capable of when pushed past your limit? Why do people insist on leaving their children on their own? This is for a video I have planned, so I'm glad I've been able to get this on here, and I'm hoping that I should be able to just fly through this book, to be perfectly honest. It sounds fantastic and I've heard great things, so yay for getting that on here. The Way of Kings is... I think I'm changing my mind on Jade Legacy. Should really prioritise Jade Legacy, but I think I'm changing my mind. I don't think I can fit Jade Legacy and Way of Kings in January. I think I'm taking the piss out of myself and you lot for even thinking that that is something I can do. Please give me like graphic novel or an indie book, because I really need to get this indie book on my TBR. Fuck. And if it doesn't go on here with the cards, I need to get to it, so I'm going to be reading it. It's going to go on here anyway. Would just be very helpful if the cards could help me out somehow, you know? This one, choose a book which has become a TV show or movie. Ooh, you know what? I can actually make that work. With Heartstopper Volume 5. This answers my question as to what's going to be my first book of the month. Because I was debating this anyway. For my first book of the month, I was just debating whether or not to read it this upcoming weekend when I'm doing a readathon with my patrons, because obviously it's December still, or whether to read it as my first book for the month, because it will guarantee me a 5-star read for the first book of the month, which is what I will definitely need with this shit going on here. So yeah, Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. If you don't know what Heartstopper is, it is a comic series, graphic novel series, however you want to call it, about Nick and Charlie and their relationship, and it's about being queer and just kind of feeling comfortable in your own skin. It has eating disorders in here, it has a lot going on. It's very, very good. I absolutely love it, and it is a TV show, so there, it counts. How many have we done? 1, 2, 3. Oh, 4. Last one. Okay, sorry, my battery died. So we're gonna do one more because apparently I like to torture myself. I'm truly actually really enjoying this game and I quite like it. I like the different prompts that appear to be coming up on the cards. I've no idea what else is in here. But I am having, shit the bed, I'm having a good time. We're not shitting the bed. We did a little bit with The Way of Kings, but let me know in the comments down below if you're enjoying the game. I don't know if I would get like a full year out of this game because there's only 30 cards. Obviously we would have a lot of repetition and it wouldn't take too long to get through this, especially if I'm doing 5 pulls a month. But it might be fun for every now and then when I don't have too busy a month. Why I thought January was a good idea to give this a go, I don't know, but I just really fancied some fun. They came recently and I wanted to play. It is what it is. What do we have? Choose a book where the blurb starts with a name. The blurb. That's the thing on the back of the book, isn't it? The synopsis, as we would call it. Where the blurb starts with a name. Okay, the books that immediately came to mind with this, because I know that they do this, is the Eden series. So I do have Jasper Vale on my December TBR. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to be able to get to it or not, whether it's going to make it. So if I don't, I will pick this up. But otherwise, I will be going for Crimson River by Devney Perry, which is book 5 in the Eden series. These books do start with a character's name in the title. So it works. Lydia Eden, Eloise Eden. It tells us exactly who we're following. So yeah, I will go for this one if I have read this in December, and if I haven't, I will go for Jasper Vale. I'm not going to tell you what they're about right now. You will find out when I do inevitably do a reading vlog. But yeah, that's what I'm going to pick for that one. So for the time being, let's put that on there just in case with that in it. In fact, let's put Crimson River on so that I remember to at least try and attempt to read Jasper Vale. And then the book that I wasn't able to get on, because we're going to end it there with those cards because I've taken the piss out myself long enough now. The book that I wasn't able to get on was Bloodlands by Stacey Marie Brown, which is the 5th book in the Savage Lands series. So I do want to get to this one in January, continue on with the Alpha Ho Book Club for Becca's Patreon book club. This one was sent to me by Amanda, so thank you so much, Amanda, for sending me this one for my birthday. You know what, I'm not doing too bad with birthday books, to be perfectly honest, because Done and Dusted was a birthday book as well. Nice. And The Way of Kings was gifted to me too, so can't complain. This series follows Brexley, who is a young girl. She is the ward of the king and queen, and 20 years ago the wall fell between the Fae and the human lands, and there was a war that went on and Brexley's parents were killed. So she's an orphan, she's now the ward of the king and queen, and she is in love with their son, her best friend. Now, in order to get her kicks, she ends up jumping on the trains that travel between the two lands, and she steals things from the trains and tries to sell them on the black market so that people that actually need them can get hold of them for a reasonable price. And she ends up finding herself caught. She gets caught, she ends up getting locked away in a Fae prison where there are all different kinds of people. So there are humans, there are Fae, there are shapeshifters, there's demons, there's all different kinds of people in there. She ends up catching the attention of Warwick Farkas within the prison, and it just kind of goes from there. I can't tell you much more than that, but this will be book 5 that I do want to get to in January to keep up with the readathon, and then book 6 in February, which is an absolute monster, I'm not gonna lie. So I'll tell you what else is a friggin' monster. This TBR, I am jokes. The joke is on me, guys. The joke is on me. Quite frankly, there is no way I'm getting through all of this in January, so I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices, let's face it. Tell me you're disappointed in yourself without telling me you're disappointed in yourself. This is a joke, and that's my TBR. This is looking a little bit like Jade's end of year TBR. Like, who, what, why, for what reason? I mean, it will kick me off very nicely if I can get through the majority of those books, if not all of them, for Box Readathon. That would be lovely. And then, I mean, to be fair to myself, it's ridiculous, yes, but achievable. Because realistically, this is what I have for 2 weeks and 3 days of the month. Which, I mean, The Way of Kings is over 1,000 pages, but is it really that bad? Maybe. So yeah, chat to me in the comments down below. What will be your first read of the year? I'm very intrigued to know what everybody is intending to read as their first read of the year. Are you planning on getting to the end of a series? Are you planning on starting a new series? Are you planning on getting to a sequel? Are you planning on picking up a graphic novel? Are you planning on picking up something that you have a little bit of doubt in your mind about, that you're not sure you're going to love? Or, like me, are you planning on picking up something that you know and can guarantee is going to be 5 stars? I can guarantee every Heartstopper volume is going to be 5 stars. I've got absolutely no reason in my mind to think that Alice Oseman isn't going to knock this out of the park, quite frankly. So this seems like the only choice for me. None of these other books exist. This is the only book I have on my shelves at the beginning of January. Also, it's Andy's birthday on the 1st of January, so it would be really nice to just be able to pick this up on the 1st of January and finish it while it's his birthday, spend some time with him. He can go on his PlayStation and I can finish Heartstopper and feel very, very achieved on the 1st of Jan to have finished my first book already and have given it 5 stars. How good will that feeling be? Sick, if you ask me. So yeah, that is everything that I've put on this TBR. Whether or not I get to everything, I don't know. I also have to remember that I have this book as well from Nina from my Patreon jar, so yay for that. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below and I shall see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.